Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's story. And if you do, please subscribe. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Bizzy from Italy. It is episode 556. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm coming too sick. I went to a cooking class and I don't know what happened. And I'm sure you guys have gone through this yourselves, but you go to a dinner or something and right after you leave the restaurant, you feel like, oh my God, my stomach hurts. My stomach doesn't normally hurt like this. Why is my stomach hurting like this? Oh my gosh. And I was like, Jeff, my stomach is killing me. My stomach is killing me. Well, of course, then I couldn't sleep and I was up all night getting sick. So no fun, but we're here on day 12. It's too long, at least for moving around for us. We decided that if we come next year, we're just going to get one place in one area, stay there. Now we've been to so many different places in Italy that we're going to go to one place and we're going to stay there and be able to unpack our bags and really live there and do that for our next trip here because there's so much to see, but we have been going and going and going, and no wonder I got sick. So I spent all day today in my Airbnb. I just laid in bed and I slept and I slept and I slept because I didn't know what else to do. And I couldn't force myself to get up and go. I just couldn't. So I haven't left the Airbnb and it's actually 8:30 at night right now. I'm recording this. And I just wanted to tell you guys that I am sick. And but you know what? I'm in the most Catholic city I've ever been to in my entire life. And if you guys are there listening, you're like, wait a minute. No, you've been to Medjugorje. No, you've been here. You've been to Rome. I'm going to tell you, this by far is the most Catholic place I've ever been. Assisi, Assisi. Unbelievable. Churches everywhere. St. Francis of Assisi is from here. He's got a humongous basilica. St. Clara has this huge church here. It has been absolutely it's so amazing. This trip, when I was planning this trip, I have to tell you guys a truth. I went on ChatGPT. And you might be like, really? And I'm like, yes, I did. I went on ChatGPT because I was like, I want to go on this trip and I want to go see things I've never seen. And I want it to be spiritual and I want it to be amazing all in one time. So what did we do? We went we first went to Madrid, which I told you guys about last week, which was kind of hard because let's face it, we were both jet lagged and we were both like, oh my God, enough. Oh my gosh. It was just too much. We were both tired. And especially my husband was like at his breaking point. And so Madrid was okay. Do I need to go back to Madrid? Not really. No. Now, would I go back to Barcelona in a heartbeat? We loved Barcelona. So we ended up taking a flight from Barcelona to Milan. And so then we went to Milan. Now from Milan, we ended up getting a car from the airport from Milan to Lake Como because my husband had to work. And he's like, I don't care. I'm paying for an Uber. It wasn't that crazy as the one when we came back because there were no trains. We had no idea there were no trains. So we had to get an Uber back on Sunday. But when we got there on Wednesday, it was pouring down rain and we got there and I went on and I told you guys that I was going to go do confession. I did that on social media. So I went and I did confession, you guys. And what I heard was freedom. Was let go of my past. The priest could not speak any English, barely, and I cannot speak Italian, even though I try to use my hands a lot and all the rest of it, I still can't speak Italian. I think if I were here for long enough, I'd start to pick it up. But anyway, I went and I said to this priest, I went in, it was right next to our Airbnb. We're staying right in the heart of town of Barcelona, of Lake Como, of Verena. We were staying in Verena, which is across from Bellagio. And we were staying in this Airbnb, which was amazing. It was huge. We could have brought everybody and their friends because it was so big and it was fabulous. But right next door was the church. And I went in for mass and tried to like stick it out for an Italian speaking mass, but it was kind of hard, right? Because I was like, wait a minute, I don't even understand anything. But I had gone in earlier and I saw the priest. He was sitting in the back row of the church and he was just wearing like a black t-shirt and black pants. I had no idea it was the priest. And I said, do you know where the priest is? He goes, I'm the priest. I'm like, oh, you are? And he said, yes. And I said, can I do confession? He goes, after mass. So we did it. And I told him my confession. And he goes, it's all about freedom. Your past is gone. You can't go back to it. God is with you today, right now, right now. It was so, Lake Como was so magical. I've been to many lakes in my life. I grew up going to the Lake of the Ozarks, and then with my ex-husband, my first husband, I hate to call him my ex. My first husband, we used to go to the El Sable Club, which is on a lake in upstate New York. So I've spent a lot of time on lakes, but I'm going to tell you the craziest thing. I wear an aura ring, and the aura ring said to me, "What are you doing? Because the last 5 days, your heartbeat was down 10 points." Can you believe that? That's how relaxing it was. It was just like zen. It was easy. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful. And it was we got up every day. Again, we aren't planners. Um when you hear about the rest of the trip, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, but when we get back to the US. But I will tell you this. It was it was it was the most amazing thing being in Lake Como because we didn't go do all the flashy things with all the. I didn't. My son was like, "Mom, don't you want to get your picture taken in Bellagio? You can say you were there." I'm like, "I don't really care." I went by it by boat 3 or 4 different times. I didn't get off. We were in Verona, which is very small and quaint, and we walked up this humongous hill and we kind of hiked, and I was wearing flip-flops. Can you imagine? Because my feet are ruined from traveling. I did not bring the right shoes for sure. I like fashion, but I've been wearing flip-flops the entire time, which is kind of crazy. But when we were on Lake Como, it was just walking around and just walking and walking and walking, getting lost and just talking to people, and just it was amazing. I went to an amazing dress shop there, Riva's. She's a local from Verona. She grew up there. She has a dress shop. Her brother has an ice cream shop, a gelato store right next door. It was so nice getting to know her, and she told us what boat captain to get to go on. We went on a boat ride, just the two of us and our captain, and that was amazing. And he was Catholic, and he was telling us a story about Mary and how Mary, they had found a wooden statue of Mary, the Blessed Mother, at this church, and she had been hidden there because the Swiss did not like Catholics. And then these nuns found this Mary and they brought her down to the church that's right on the lake, not up on the mountain, but down right on the lake. And they brought it down there. And guess what? It went back up to the original place where it was, the Mary statue. Like, it was kind of creepy, right? No, not creepy, I don't think. It's just the Blessed Mother does what the Blessed Mother wants to do, and she did not want that statue down there. She wanted it up at the original place where it was left. So that was an amazing story. You can hear him tell the story if you go and you watch my Instagram. I have his reel up. And then there's something about being on the water, by the way, that brings peace to your soul. And so being there on the river was very peaceful for me. Hence I live in Florida. I'm not far from the beach and I love it, and it brings me zen. And then we went to Assisi. And how did we get to Assisi? So we took a car from Lake Como to the train station Milan, and then we missed then we went from Milan to Florence, and we have so much luggage, and my husband's so good about carrying everything. He's very strong, thank you God. And we went and we had to wait there for 2 hours for our next train. And so in Florence, so we sat in Florence and ate candy, ice gelato, and some sandwiches. That was really fun. We just sat there in the smoking section. It was so gross. He said, like, "Oh my gosh, why are we in the smoking section?" But we were. And but ironically, There are no coincidences. The train pulled up right next to where we were sitting. So that was kind of easy. So we got on a local, and it kind of reminded me of the R5 outside of Philadelphia, which is our local train outside of Philadelphia. And it was like a local train. So it stopped all the time, but it was manageable. It was fine. I mean, I have to tell you, it has been such a less of it. We were going to rent cars, and I had said that before, but you know what? We decided not to rent a car. We decided that we're just going to take trains. It's so much easier. It's less stress. We just sit there. I read an entire book already since I've been here. And we sit on the train and just read and look out the window. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we get to Assisi, and Assisi is a medieval town. It's all stone. It's on, when you pull into the station, you see you see this town up on the hill, and it's all looks like a castle or a bunch of castles. And that's where we are in Assisi, and it's right up on the hill. And there's so many churches. It's been amazing, being in this holy place. And everywhere we look, there's nuns. And I know a lot of people say they don't see nuns anymore. I do see nuns a lot because I know that there's nuns that live right down the street from me. Sister Elizabeth, for one, and she works for the school, St. Vincent's. So I see her all the time. But here, there's so many nuns. And I think there's a bunch of different convents here too, because I've seen them going into their homes. Like they're different, there's different orders of nuns. So we've watched that, and there's been so many friars. There's so many friars and Franciscan priests, in their brown robes. And I went. So after getting my confession, I heard the freedom, and then I went when we were in the Basilica of Saint Francisco. There was a Franciscan priest, and I said, "Would you please pray for me, please?" And he walked up and he put his hands on my head and he prayed for me, and it was so beautiful. It was so amazing. And I finished on this trip. I did the Hallow for St. Joseph, and that was amazing because, I never knew as a kid, like I could pray to Saint Joseph as my father. I knew about Mary, but not so much about Joseph. And I learned so much about Joseph from that Hallow that it was just, I feel like I did the, what is it called? Um, Consecration to St. Joseph. And so one of the things was doing the confession. That's why I had to go to confession on Lake Como. So I did that. And then I went to Mass, and it was amazing. And now I've started a new, let me tell you what it's called, you guys. It's called the Sacred Heart Retreat. And it's join Mother Olga and Father Pierre Trousseau, CFR, and Jonathan Rumi for a retreat into the heart of Jesus. Throughout June, the month dedicated to the Sacred Heart, we will meditate on the depth of God's love, gently uncover the wounds that keep us from fully loving Jesus, and learn how to return his love with our own, drawing from the devotion to the Sacred Heart. So I just started that yesterday. Today was day 2. You're listening to this on Wednesday, so tomorrow will be day 3. And wonderful. I have to tell you guys, it's wonderful. And just knowing that I can do all these hallows everywhere all over the world. It doesn't matter. All I have to have is my phone. I could do it on. I actually do it on my iPad, but I love having it with me. And so Assisi, besides getting the stomach bug, the only thing I can tell you I really learned is that I had to slow down. It was time. We have been running for 12 days. Instead of resenting this sickness, I have seen it as a gift for me to have stillness, to pray, and to listen. Sometimes we're brought to a halt because we're meant to hear what we've been ignoring. And I needed to hear, it's time to sleep, Elizabeth. It's time to not be like this Energizer bunny all the time. You need sleep. We're about to go into Rome. We have a big weekend there from Wednesday. We'll be there Wednesday till Monday. Our flight comes back to US on Monday. And I'm very, very, very excited. And can you believe it? I'm missing my doggies. I'm missing my friends. I miss my community in Delray. I love my people and I miss them so much. And I can't wait. But you know what the best part about when you leave is that when you go back, you're like, oh my gosh, I love where I live. I love my home. If you have that feeling, if you're lucky enough to have that feeling, that's how I feel like. I just can't wait to go home. I'm enjoying this. But again, it's been a lot of moving and lots of stuff and lots of stuff and moving, moving, moving. And I'm one of those late processors. I don't know if you guys can recognize that, but like, do you process things? Like, I've delayed processing. I think I've heard kids get diagnosed with delayed processing disorder, and I think I might really have it because I think all this, as much as I'm writing every night, you guys, I journal every night when I'm here that I've been on this trip. And every night I'm writing how I'm feeling and what we did that day. And it has been a lot. We've seen a lot. We've prayed a lot. We saw Carlo's body, who was the little boy that they're making into a saint, and they didn't get to because Pope Francis died. But I'm sure it will be happening soon with Pope Leo. But we saw his body in rest, and that was wow. 14 years old, you guys, and his body is here. And he had on jeans, and he had on Nike sneakers, and he had an Adidas top, and he had said to his parents, he died in Milan in a hospital. But after they buried him, and then in 2017, they exhumed his body. And so his body is here in Assisi, and it's wax now on top of his body. So it looks so, I guess he's underneath the wax, but it's just so, oh my gosh, to see this little boy. And my my friends have told me that in the Catholic Church these days, they're all about like making him into the rock star. And I ran into these women, they were all on a yoga retreat. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're on a yoga retreat. I used to want to do yoga retreats, you guys, but I gave up yoga when I went to Medjugorje. But anyway, they're like, we saw that kid everywhere. We thought he was a local rock star. I'm like, oh, of course, Americans. You don't think we're in like one of the most religious towns in the world, and you guys are thinking it's a pop star. Okay, not to be judgy, but I have noticed, you guys, I am going to say this. I'm going to call myself out on this. I have been a little bit Judge Judy. I don't understand why when people walk into a Catholic church, they don't cover their shoulders. You have to cover your shoulders and your knees. It's like no joke here in Italy. You have to do it. It's like so Catholic here. You cannot get away with it. I saw a woman walking into the basilica, and she had on short shorts and a tank top, and of course she couldn't go into the church. They said, no, you can't come in. You're not dressed properly. And I just don't understand how people don't. So if you guys are out there and you're going to churches, remember that you bring something to cover your shoulders, okay, and your knees. And then also know that when it says don't take pictures, don't take pictures. I was like, I'm never a rule follower, but when you're in something like a church, like at what point do you not, like at least in a church you have to follow the rules, don't you think? I don't know. Maybe when I was drinking I might not have, but I can tell you now. I'm like, and I kept saying to JF, why are they taking pictures? He's like, stop being Judge Judy. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop being Judge Judy. Anyway, today's podcast is not going to be very long. I'm giving it to you guys for 20 minutes because let's face it, I'm not feeling 100%. I promise you that I will have a podcast dropping on Monday, and it's going to be me and JF. He's my guest because he hasn't come on in the month of June yet. So he's going to come on. He's our next guest. And I want to tell you that going to confession equals freedom. Taking the time to go to confession equals freedom. Because at least for me, when the priest said, stop carrying this stuff around, you need freedom. God already forgave us. Why are you carrying this stuff around? And I'm like, why am I? Why do we all carry this stuff around? It's like so freeing. You can go to any church and say, can I do confession? And they'll let you do it, especially on Saturdays in America. It's like Saturday afternoons. You can go and do confession, and it's just cleaning of your soul. It's like, take this stuff away. It's enough. I don't want to carry this stuff anymore. I want to let it go, and I want to be free. And that is such a gift because we want to be free from fear, from guilt, from pressure, from old habits. We want to be free from all of that. And, let go. Letting go equals freedom. So here on this trip, and then doing this newest devotion that I'm doing on Hallow, all of it is like the perfect recipe. I swear God gave me this recipe right now for me to live this life where I am like able to be free and see all the gifts that God has given us all and get out of my own way, which is the biggest gift. So I encourage you to think about, what do you need to release? What is going on in your life that you have been carrying for so long? It's so heavy. It's in this backpack. You keep carrying it around. It's so heavy. It's so draining. It's so exhausting. And you've been carrying it for so long. When are you going to let it go? When are you going to tell somebody about it? Because once you tell somebody, it gets out of your head. It's out of your heart. It equals freedom. When we are going and looking for something from somebody else to give us an okay, just another layman person, not a priest or something, but like a regular, just old person like me. With my coaching, I help people and I listen there as well. But you want somebody that's going to love you and be non-judgmental to you. And if you go and you talk about something with somebody who's not in the same place you are, it can be hard because you want them to be in this place where they can hear you and say, this is what I've been carrying. This is what's been bothering me. I want to talk about it. And until both parties are ready, it doesn't matter, in my humble opinion. I think both parties have to be ready for it to be a smooth, like, reconciliation. I think that if anybody is carrying around something from yesterday and they haven't let it go before you meet with them to talk about whatever resentment or whatever you've been carrying, it can be really heavy and not come off well. So make sure that you look at your part and you look at the other person's part. So many of us, and I'm going to end with this, so many of us listen for giving a response rather than listen and go, wait, did I hear what you said correctly? Is this what you said? And we don't assume things. So many times we assume things because we're right there and we want to hear what we want to hear rather than hearing what the actual person is saying, which takes time and practice to listen. Listen to what the person has to say. Don't assume anything. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you're interested in coaching, again, I'm coaching when I get back in the U.S. On the 17th of June. I get back the 16th, but it's late at night. I'm not dealing. I'm going to be exhausted, I think. But the 17th, 18th, reach out to me. If you're looking for coaching or somebody else in your family needs coaching, please reach out to me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. And know this, you are not alone. Take care, everybody. Our next stop is Rome. And we will be on for Monday. You guys will hear us. JF and I are going to come on and do a podcast from Rome. So tune in on Monday for our podcast. Until next time, everybody, take care and keep getting busy living sober. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, if you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And follow me on all social media. And you can also get my newsletter every Friday morning into your inbox. Just go to elizabethchance.com and subscribe. Take care.